The Whine and Cheese show is a Metaverse and NFT discussion and interview series brought to you by Metaverse Ventures Entertainment and host BEN68 and Morecheese. Warning: the information and opinions within are solely the views of the individuals involved, contains content not suitable for anyone.
G'day and welcome to Season 1, Episode 37 of the Whine and Cheese and the Metaverses show.
Today we talk to MetaVersr Buck on how he got into Upland, the current projects he has going, his networking techniques, and what he has planned for the future.
So put some matchsticks in your frickin' eyes and get ready for a super bored, shitless episode of...
The worst chicken wing ever.
Hang on a minute. No, screw that vibe. This episode was awesome. And Buck is kicking ass and literally taking names in and around the metaverse. So sit up and get ready to feast on a taste of the future.
Laters. Yum, 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 yum.
Whine and cheese. Time for wine and cheese. Wine and cheese. Time for wine and cheese. Cheese.
One is a wanker, one's slinging stonks. One's from Australia, one's from the Bronx. Talking about the metaverse and NFTs. Interviewing all the real crypto G's.
Hello and welcome to Whine and Cheese and the Metaverses show. This is episode 37. When are they going to take us off the air, Ben? I don't know. Never. Can't take us. We won't leave.
It's ride or die.
Ride or die. Thelma and Louise. Give me a hand. Flames. All right, we're here with the Metaverse Buck. And he's our guest host of the week. So cool to have him back here. We had him when we did the panel on the UDU podcast. That was a lot of fun with Dak and Nosif and a couple others I'm most likely forgetting. But yeah. Ben.
Hello. Thank you again for having me on.
Oh, thank you for coming on. And everybody, let's take a great look at his shirt right there. Do not ask me to do a fucking NFT. Yee. Oh yeah, you go first here. So you're
yeah. I mean, if you've ever talked to me before, you know that bringing merch to the metaverse or the metaverse into merch is what I like to do. But like, what? Proof of concept? You know, banana tape to wall. It's like double the monstrosity.
There was something, when I woke up this morning, there was some interesting news, which of course will excite the both of you, is Upland is Vegas and city to be released. I was very surprised that it's a tier 4. What's going on there?
I don't know.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, the running joke in a lot of the chat is that Vegas is like Detroit with really nice casinos. So, you know, it could be that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, it was. I think I was relieved more than anything. If it wasn't going to be Vegas, it would have been a huge missed opportunity. So I think that's a good box to tick. So, and the both of you are heading there, I believe. So that'll add an extra layer of coolness to the whole thing. I would guess.
Sure.
When are you leaving, Cheese?
8th.
So a couple of days. How about you?
I just want to, since I am cheese and I am rude by nature, I'm just going to go back to what I was saying before you interrupted me, Ben.
Oh, sorry. Where's that plushy doll?
I was going to say, yeah. Oh my fucking God. I was going to say your t-shirt is well done for those who don't want to get the permission for putting somebody's actual face on it. I think that's something that's really very well done in that, that aspect.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Ben. Vegas. Yay. Yes, smack.
Go ahead, Ben.
That's over to you guys. I'm not going to Vegas. It's all you guys.
We're going to be driving up on the 8th.
Yeah, I leave actually Sunday. So I'm going to have a truncated stop there. So I'm there Sunday to Tuesday. I got to get back to LA. My twins graduate, and then I go back Thursday for Friday.
So you picked up 2 plushies right there, and they look very familiar.
Again, product. It's all about product placement. You're gonna bend the whale on one side, and cotton candy cheese.
Cotton candy cheese. Oh my God, cotton candy flavored cheese. That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. It it's a fun play on what I think is missing in the void in the metaverses: tangibility, having fun things you can.
Yeah, I do need one of those. Like, are you going to be bringing props to Vegas with you?
I am. I'm bringing a crystal block explorer, some of my wood burned augmented cards.
Nice.
Oh, and for everybody out there, if you see any of my paste ups, there'll be Upland promotion looking paste ups and block explorers. All of them will have augmented capability. So you'll have to scan a little thing on the side, and yeah, you'll see it come alive up on the streets of Vegas.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Cheese, you'll be there with your, what have you got? Your party bags to sling about?
Yes, nobody's gonna know what's in there. The only thing I will say is there's a party bag. There's going to be a business card inside, and on each label is going to be a number. So if you get a party bag, if you're able to see me, I'll have my UDU tote bag with my party bags inside. I'll give you a little party bag and keep it. Hold on to the bag because there's a number on it that there will be prizes when I get home from Vegas.
Cool. All right. I'm sure we'll dive into all of that a bit deeper when we take what do you say? A cup of buck or something?
Oh, a hot cup of buck.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Pour me a hot cup of buck. That sounds so freaking bad. We both said it too, so it's not just me.
I did catch, I don't know whether it was last night or the night before, I did catch you've got a new sign-off saying. What was it?
Stay fresh cheese bags.
Yeah, that's I was laughing my ass off. I was still in bed. Yeah.
And it's from
cheese bag.
It was from a meme that it was showing in a supermarket. There's these stay fresh cheese bags.
Yeah.
So it just sounds like a great closer, like stay fresh cheese bags. I'm out.
It does. Absolutely. All right. We shall do what we do. Cheese, you've got screen sharing disabled for me.
Oh, see, I did one, but not the other. You can't expect this to be perfect.
Well, it is the worst show ever. So we got to maintain some consistency. Oh, look, you're getting the choke now.
I kind of like it though.
OMG.
Oh, I shared it for the first link. I actually thought the show was starting an hour earlier because I'm woohoo.
Yeah, you sent me the link and I was still in bed. I was like,
you're like, what the hell?
All right, so we've got the Spearledge. A whole bunch of articles jumped out to me this yesterday when I was getting prepared for the show, and we won't touch on any one of them in too much detail because I'm sure we've got a lot to talk about with Buck. But yeah, this one was a classic. Speaking of blending the real world and the metaverse world, Tamagotchi kids. Could the future of parenthood be having virtual children in the metaverse?
That's so cool. That's so cool. Like, and people aren't having kids nowadays, so might as well have a virtual child.
Well, I think we've got a good mix here. I've got 3 kids, Buck. It sounds like you've got at least 2.
3 also, yeah.
Oh no, I'm not talking about us old people. I'm talking about like the millennials. The
newer ones.
A lot of them a lot of them are, well, not even millennials, the ones after that. A lot of them are, being smart about it and kind of just going about doing their own thing. Yes. It's your world. They're just squirrels trying to get a nut sort of thing.
Now, the both of you said you played with Tamagotchis back in the day. How did some of the kids had that when I was at school, but I was too busy skateboarding and surfing. I had no interest in it whatsoever.
Whatever. You were cool.
What was the deal?
So
I was a misfit.
You were
a misfit.
The cool kids had Tamagotchis. The rich cool kids had Tamagotchis, not me.
Dude, they were like $10. I have mine.
Oh,
still got it.
Look at that.
Wow.
Look.
Still got it.
And Ben just gave me these articles last night. I went looking for mine like a wild cheese. He ended up dying at a nice old age. you get to have like different, depending on how much you feed them, how much you care for them, you get different kinds. They evolve into different kinds. I'm wondering if you don't take care or cuddle your child in this virtual reality thing, they can grow up to be serial killers.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Nurture.
Yeah, Black was kind of getting into that before we kicked off. Yes, so
I would love to raise a little virtual serial killer.
Right, we can do the Japanese rice test. Raise one in total darkness and just like berate it, and then spoil the other one, and see which one is actually the serial killer in the end.
I love it. I love it. Can you have twins? Let's read more into this.
Right, so
I didn't read any of these articles you sent me.
To be fair, neither did I. I just got the headline saying, name Tamagotchi
Was
kids
I the only one that got to prepare for this note?
Yeah.
You did your homework.
We never prepare. We like to be like on the spot, spontaneous.
Nice.
Yes, we discover it along with our audience. So yeah, age yet to be born, though it won't be long, says Catriona Campbell. Is she pregnant? No. Well, I don't know. That's not the point. What is the point? And this goes along with what Cheese was saying, that some people might never decide to be pregnant or ever again. And that already happens, doesn't it? True, for loads of reasons, including concerns about the environment, overpopulation, the rising cost of bringing up children. And this Catriona person, she's one of the UK's leading authorities on artificial intelligence. And she has a book. And she says that within 50 years, technology will have advanced to such an extent that babies which exist in the metaverse are indistinct from those in the real world.
Wow.
Really?
I mean, we're old, Ben. You have to kind of see this with new eyes. I know. I know. I feel like that's the dumbest thing people.
I think the whole raising part of it probably, but when you first want to file your tax return and claim your
it's real taxation.
It's a real kid.
Awesome.
I was sitting in my work office the other day, and the director was nursing one of the kids there, and the kid threw up all over her, and she had to go and sort out some new clothes. So I can't imagine that happening in the metaverse. Oh no, me $1 million NFT shirt has got virtual baby vomit on it.
Oh wow!
Oh man! And what if it's one of those lava spitting up babies? Right? Is that like an NFT burn?
Worth it. I want a lava spitting baby now.
I just burned that NFT.
You have so many ideas, you both. Wow, this is
true.
So
all the ideas really are just like applying the worst ways kids annoy us in real life.
Yeah, the worst aspects of children.
Well, it's like everything, isn't it? I mean, you can take this crazy to a micro level. Like, there's even been talking about people want to introduce like wear and tear on NFTs. So the more that you look at it or access it, it's going to like start to crack and downgrade and all that sort of things. Like, I thought the whole point was to get away from that.
Well, the car NFTs will have odometers.
Yeah,
so the AI will know when it needs a tune-up.
So we have a way to tune it up.
Meta chores to do now.
So we got to tune up our babies.
I'm gonna keep it in the garage, like Ferris Bueller movie. The kid's father, like, don't touch it. He washes it with baby wipes every day.
So the article goes on to say it means virtual digital children will exist in the metaverse, which, as you'll know, is the immersive digital future of the internet. Campbell predicts that they will be commonplace and embraced by society within half a century. Half a century?
That's a lot.
She has called this digital demographic the Tamagotchi generation, after those digital pet toys from Japan, remember? Yep. So will our kids be egg-shaped and have 3 buttons, and we'll soon get bored and forget about them, like Cheese did with her Tamagotchi?
No, I love
technology has come on since the 90s. Campbell says virtual children will look like you, and you will be able to play with and cuddle them. They will be capable of simulated emotional responses as well as speech, which will range from goo goo gaga to back chat as they grow older.
Wow.
Oh my God, I get enough back chat in the real world.
I know, right?
Wow.
Wow, so this will be with my new virtual Oculus thing. I could go in there and hug my baby.
Go hug your baby.
Throw 'em across
And you
the
know,
room.
that ties into that one episode where you guys were talking about the sensitive or the touch sensitive equipment. Man.
Yeah.
So then you can actually feel what a lava spitting up baby feels like.
Yeah, they could
that
put like
burns.
air and water from that kissing simulator all over your face, and some acid if it's baby like fire.
Baby fire.
You'd be like, oh, what happened to your face? Oh, my virtual baby just spit up fire all over me.
All over me. Dang.
I took it there. I'm sorry.
Is it a real thing in the States? Like, we see a lot of sitcoms in Australia, American sitcoms, and there was always those ones where, you know, the teen sitcom where the teenage kids have to look after a baby over the weekend or an egg or some shit like that, and they break it or the thing doesn't stop crying. Is that a real thing over there?
I had the egg.
Yeah.
I didn't have
so maybe this might be the next
egg and
evolution.
bag of flour.
A bag of flour.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So this might be
My
the next
clothes must
evolution
have gotten
of that.
so dirty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they'll have kids taking care of a virtual kid. That's right, Ben.
Yeah. So it says, it sounds a teeny bit creepy, no? Think of the advantages: minimal cost and environmental impact, and less worry, though you might want a bit of that programmed in for a far more authentic parental experience.
But will it be minimal cost? Because I'm sure then they'll have virtual schools, and you'll want to get into the best virtual schools.
Yeah.
And then you're going to want to deck your kid out in the latest fashion. This ain't going to be cheap, right? And then the kid's going to be like, oh, I want this toy. And then they're going to partner with people like Amazon and Google, and they're going to see what they want you to buy for your kid.
Product placement.
Oh, so cool though.
Well, you got to get virtual, you know, mental health for your virtual child who got his virtual head flushed down a virtual toilet by the virtual
the bullies. Oh my God.
No, where does it end? You know?
And then like,
no, there is no ending.
Your guidance, the guidance counselor would be like, I think your kid is going to be a serial killer. And I'll be like, yes.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I mean, the percentages of serial killers in the metaverse is going to be exponentially greater than it is in real life, because the only thing that stops us in real life from being sociopaths are laws, you know, public shaming,
social
going to jail.
Oh, there'll be laws. There'll be laws. And then we'll have to visit our kids in jail, Metaverse jail.
Metaverse jail.
Yeah, we'll have to bring them care packages, and that's even more money. You know, socks. Soap.
I would just probably try to break my kid out every single time.
Then he would go to jail.
That would be a fun challenge.
You'll be
but then you hit the reset button the next day. You're like, oh, visit. Let's try this different NFT tool to try to break them out. It's like a puzzle game.
So you're going to try and smuggle in a virtual hacksaw blade up your virtual backside.
I like it. And then they'll have a suit made to make you feel that object within the rectum area while you smuggle it into the jail. You have to think of these things. We want it to be as real as possible. Oh, I feel it.
That was a crazy thought. But you know what? That's the human thing, is we love creating these vicious cycles for ourselves.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see how that all plays out. But yeah, I thought that was very interesting, that one.
That was an awesome article.
Yeah, this next one is pretty cool. This kind of paves the way for what I think is big things to come. So it's the title is South Korean Government Becomes an Early Investor in the Metaverse, which, you know, lots of companies and countries and that sort of thing are starting to take it a bit more seriously. But what was the figure here? $177 million they're pumping into it. That is a significant chunk of cheddar. What do you think about that?
That's pretty cool, though. I like that they're adapting and evolving. Like, I always kind of saw that with the South Korean government. Like, they're smart. I would love to have international start around. I know it won't, but it would be so ideal to start around there. I love their shows. I watch K-dramas all the time. They're really smart when it comes to evolving and adapting. And I I think they're doing a smart move here.
Yeah, same here. It's very similar to like what El Salvador did with Bitcoin, where they not only adopted it as a national currency or a form of, but they're going to start creating government bonds backed by Bitcoin, to build that Bitcoin city. So I wonder if South Korea will go that far and build a NFT city, where everything's purchased with NFTs and
they're not much.
There's a Metaverse version.
Oh, absolutely. It says the program is headed by South Korea's Ministry of Science and Information and Communication Technology. So, it's the leading brains in that side of things. And it says the national fund would be first utilized to build a metropolitan level metaverse platform, which would allow citizens to access various government schemes and services virtually. So it's what Cheese and I have been talking about for a long time. Like, everything's pushing into Web3 and this kind of more immersive thing. Well, yeah, the South Korean government, they're not going to wait for somebody else to create it and then they have to adapt it to whatever they're going to do. They're leading by example.
Exactly.
So it's very cool.
And a lot of the political, cultural aspect of countries in Asia, parts of Latin America, do tend to be more, the populace at least, more comfortable with heavy government, regulation. I mean, this is, I would assume similar to just placing certain board members on server companies and other, developmental companies, stuff like that, to be able to source some of this technology and advancement for the government.
Yeah, and it kind of, I'm not sure exactly about South Korea, but I can speak from a Japanese perspective where, Japan is, and I talked about this last week, like they have the persona that they're very highly technical and all that sort of stuff. But in reality, if you have to do anything with the Japanese government, it's all paper-based. It's all just like, you would not believe the level of bureaucracy that is there. The best example I can give, what do you call it in the States? Is it the DMV, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So imagine you had one state, I don't know, I'll just say Texas, for example. Imagine the state of Texas, there was one DMV for the entire state. Imagine what the lineups and all that sort of stuff are. So that's kind of the Japanese system. So if you need to do anything, you're there for the whole day.
Wow.
You might as well book a hotel because you're probably there tomorrow as well.
Wow.
So imagine being able to do this all virtually. Like we've seen this with Upland. They have virtual queues. You get in line. You have to wait your turn. You can check in. Oh, I've got an hour to go. All right, well, I'll go and do something else. So yeah, any sort of government stuff like that can be pushed to the virtual world. And actually, we're going through it now with my kids. My kids are dual citizens, so my wife's trying to get their Japanese passports renewed. Now, our closest one is Brisbane City, which is about probably an hour and a half on the train. And then you got to walk from the train station way into the city. Like it's doable, but it's a pain in the butt and it's a full day thing. If you could just do that virtually, it'd save so much drama and stress and all the rest of it. So,
Great.
Yep. That would be fun though, to get into your Oculus and immerse yourself to argue a meta ticket, like a meta parking ticket with a meta parking attendant.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I've told this story on here before or not, but one of the best things I ever saw in Japan was I was in this line for about an hour and a half. So that there was like a central booth in this massive building and you had to line up on one side. So I was in that line for about an hour and a half and the guy does something to your paperwork, gives you a stamp, and then you go around to the other side. It's the same booth. The people are back to back on each other and you line up there for about another 2 hours. And then that lady checks your paperwork. That's all she does. She checks it and says, yep, that was right. So I was in this line. I was about 10 people back in this line and I've been in there for, ages and ages. And I watched this young Japanese girl. She just walked. I watched her. She looked around and she just cut right to the front of the line and nobody said boo shit. I was blowing up like, I've been waiting here for ages, but I was more impressed that she just had the nerve to just go, stuff your rules. And being Japan, everybody's uber polite. Nobody's going to cause a scene. Yeah, nobody said nothing.
I would have did it right after her then. I would have been like, oh, if she's allowed to do this, here you go. I'm number 2.
That's not how it works over there. I mean, if you tried that in Australia, you'd get clobbered over the back of the head. In America, you'd probably get shot in the back of the head. But yeah. So
yeah,
I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, they do go on here to say the metaverse, and they talk about how NFTs can be used as well as part of it all. So think about things like your driver's license as an NFT, you know, housing deeds, rental leases, all of that sort of stuff.
Yo, I can't imagine the bandwidth needed for this though, because like even in LA, we don't have very good public Wi-Fi. So to be able to have, let's say, a VR or AR, you know, menu and, you know, signage and DMV stuff, like that would take some serious bandwidth. The only place I know of in the States that has that kind of, let's say, support is Kansas City, because the Google Fiber is that, you know, using Kansas City as a testing ground for their high speed Wi-Fi.
So what is the difference between the Google Fiber and the Verizon Fiber?
Nothing other than I think the Google Fiber is more geared towards infrastructure size instead of home to home. No, so like wiring up a whole city.
I thought you were going to say it's more geared towards taking your information as you internet. Because I'm from New York originally. I just moved to Arizona 2 years ago, and the thing I miss the most after pizza and bagels is my FiOS, my fiber optic internet.
Well, it becomes an issue of scale. Like these smaller countries like South Korea and Japan, and I think that there's some third world countries that have far superior internet than Australia. Australia's internet is just horrendous because it's just the size of the bloody place, you know, and the isolation and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm not sure. All right, we'll keep cracking on. This next one was cool too. 5 technologies that will shape the metaverse's future. So we'll only touch on the headlines here, I think. Just get your take on that.
I just had like a personal, really good moment.
Oh, what's happened?
Oh no, all right. So I'm a day trader. I sell contracts of stocks I own. So I bank on everything going down. That's how I make my money. So I sold like 10 CVM contracts at 140 each. And it just went from like 480 to 380 right now. So now the contracts are worth a penny. So I could just buy them back, and I made like 150 times 10.
Nice. Can I borrow some money for Las Vegas? Maybe I'll go there.
Nice. Well, technically, that's exactly where probably that money is going already. It'll be there before you will be.
You're not going to be there, Ben.
You've just got the number one on this list is virtual reality headsets. Now you just got one for your birthday.
I did. The Oculus 2.
So tell us all about it.
Oh, it's cool. Like, all right. So I told my husband, like, you know, we get ourselves whatever we want, and we hardly really need anything but the latest new video game. We're both like geeks that really like to play video games. I'm not into jewelry, except for my new skull earrings, which are so cute. It made Ben cringe, but
ooh, nice.
Oh, whatever, Ben. How can you like help me harvest skin in the future during an apocalypse?
Just don't do piercings.
Whatever. Anyway, so we're eating dinner, and he like slides a box over, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And it was the new Oculus, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. And we were playing Beat Saber all night. And it's really fun. It's a lot of exercise. You don't realize it until you get to the 4th campaign level, and you're like, hey, you want to play some? And then you take it off and you sit down, and your heart is about to come out of your throat. So it's really good exercise without even knowing it.
Nice. That's cool. How about yourself, Buck? Have you dived into any virtual reality headsets?
I have not, but it is on my birthday wish list, which is coming up in July. I've been filming a bunch of stuff in 360 with my Insta360.
Yes,
and
I
it's,
did
and
have
all
that
come,
down to talk to you about.
yeah, and it all uploads in VR on through YouTube. So I'm excited to see some of the stuff I've recorded. Ben, you'd enjoy the last show we recorded was a thrash metal show with bands like Scalp, Age of Apocalypse. Yeah, it was a really great show.
That's not thrash. Come on, get your genres right.
Cradle of Filth. I always got to be the gothic guy in IT crowd when I say Cradle of Filth.
This site sucks for ads, but yeah, all right. The next one, number 2, augmented reality glasses. Now, was that last week or the week before we touched on those, Cheese, where the Google glasses, and it looked like you had 4 eyes, but then the latest version looked much better. Maybe it was the week before. Now, you're somebody who's dabbling in augmented reality and that sort of stuff.
Elijah's so two episodes ago.
Yeah, that was a good episode. Yeah, those glasses were crazy. The second version that they were, I think, coming out, it was more expensive. Those looked like some cool Hollywood poolside type shades, but
I like the other ones kind of though. If you played Cyberpunk, remember the bad guys in there? They had like all those eyes. It kind of looked like that.
Yeah. That's pretty cool too. I actually really like the one that they showed off, or Upland with HoloRide showed off at South by Southwest. The HTC Vive, I think it's called. Those have a very steampunk looking aesthetic to it.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be in any hurry to get a headset because I don't really do that sort of gaming. But augmented reality glasses, that'd be something I'd definitely put on the wish list for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. But then again, I mean, using it right now would be interesting to see about like how bandwidth, or would you have to hotspot it with your phone, to be able to see these cool effects.
Yes. The other one, number 3, decentralized finances, DeFi, and non-fungible tokens, NFTs. That's probably the most established part of the whole thing at present. When you talk about metaverses and that sort of stuff, that's still all playing out. But yeah, NFTs are definitely, when you're talking about $1 billion economy at the moment, so DeFi and NFTs. So.
Whenever you say talking about that metaverse, I always think of the Whine and Cheese song talking about the metaverse, NFTs, finding out all the real crypto G's.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Morecheeese.
Yes.
He's hard to make laugh. I try to make him laugh all the time. It's not easy. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
Number 4, digital identity. Now, this goes back to that whole South Korean thing with the government investing in, a metaverse for their citizens as part of governance. Digital identity tied to all sorts of stuff. It could be, like I said, deeds to your house, bloody driver's license, credit cards, But there's also a lot of negative connotations as well. If you listen to Joe Rogan or somebody like that, he's always banging on about how, social credit scores are evil, and that sort of stuff. So that there is a potential downside as well that you can't really just gloss over. What's your take on that side of things, Buck?
Well, as a creative, Cheese, that to get whitelisted on Atomic Hub, you have to have a digital identity. They ask for social media accounts, your papers with, the project explanation and stuff like that. So, to a certain extent, yeah, exactly. There's a certain extent we already have that. I think we've had it for a while. I guess in a, beta version would be like all the passwords we've had to remember in the last decade or, 20 years. All kinds of profiles that we
what's your mum's maiden name, what's your first pet, if you have to do something with your bank, like I know I rang up my bank and I put a blocker on my information. I was like, under no circumstances is anybody to do anything with my account online or over the phone. because we've had what is it, the SIM card
Mm-hmm.
theft, and like with like telecom companies and that sort of stuff, where people are calling up and however they're phishing the information, they know your mother's maiden name, they can tick those boxes and they essentially steal your digital identity. So yeah, you're right that it's already there, but it's just not in a very good form.
No.
Yeah.
And aside from probably having a digital identity that is more psychologically friendly, like the avatars and maybe an ID card, that kind of ugly identity type stuff is going to be a normal thing. Again, it's like the human condition to just create the vicious cycles. We hate the DMV, but we're creating DMVs in virtual reality.
Yes. And the last one is advanced health monitoring sensors in wearable devices. So I guess this is like your Whoop bands and things like that.
But to get back to the last point, because I didn't get a chance to speak on it.
Sorry, you had your head down, and I know when you got your head down.
I'm waiting. I like to wait for people to finish talking. I don't like to roar. So I think in the future, what I see is you having kind of like NFTs for each part of your digital identity. So like, let's say you create an NFT that holds everything that Atomic Hub needs to be whitelisted, or you have an NFT with your social, your passport, your birth certificate. Like each NFT would be inside like your personal folder
or something.
Yeah. And like whatever you need to submit, you would just be like, okay, here's a link to my private NFT. You could check it out there. And that link will expire like 24 hours or something. I think that would be nice and neat to have, instead of like looking for paper this, looking for paper that, and then it'll all be kind of verified and whatnot, as long as you keep your NFT safe, but then you have to keep your birth certificate safe and your social security safe. Yeah. So I would like to see that.
Yeah, that would be cool, because you could keep some NFTs on cold storage, offline. Yeah. But then, the thing about birth certificates and social security cards, there's an office that if you do lose it, you can go and get another one. You'd have to give up your cold storage information, or whatever wallet you're using to store these identity ones, to somebody or some entity, to then say, oh, well, I lost the key. Can I get it again?
But it could be different. Like I see in the future it being a lot more safer in regards to, let's say you give them the link to the NFT, and then they'll have to put in like an authentication code.
Yeah, right.
That's like you'll be like, all right, here's the code, and this will expire in 24 hours, sort of thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense too. And plus, we are all used to using thumbprints and our face for phones, so unlocking that way.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, I guess this last one can go both ways as well. Advanced health monitoring sensors, like if you're somebody that had diabetes, well, maybe you get a ping to say, your blood sugar's low or whatever. But some of the people that are very concerned about, social credit scores and that sort of thing will say, well, if you're in the line to get your triple cheeseburger, when you place that order and it's scanned to your account, it's going to say, you're already obese. You better go for the salad option,
Oh, man.
True.
Or like you can set the sensitivity settings. Like I personally would love to hear my monitor say, you fat fuck, put that shit down. But you can also set it to like, hey, man, maybe you should try a little bit better something. Yeah. I would find it funny, but you could do the settings to make it more, sensitive.
Right. Like a setting where it notices that you're picking up cheese, and you're like, well, use this one instead. You get the same flavor palette, less calories.
I like
right?
That.
Like that kind of thing.
So cheese is talking about having like a setting like the best friend option, or your mother option, or your mother-in-law option. Yeah, everyone's going to speak to you in different cadence and stuff. So yeah,
Right.
very
Right.
cool. All right,
well,
now this.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, finish your thought.
Oh, just the last thought. It would be interesting on the example you used with the cheeseburgers, because we do it with cars now, car insurance. If any damage or accidents are reported, your rates go up and down. If you have none, it goes down. So what if you pick up that cheeseburger and it alerts you like, hey, if you don't eat that, we'll take $5 off your next, health insurance premium cost.
Ooh, I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, incentive. That's like money is a
Incentivize.
huge incentive. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because I used to smoke, and whenever I saw those smoking commercials, I'd be like, gosh, that made me want a cigarette. Like of the person in the hospital with the thing on the neck.
Don't get me
I'd be
started.
like, that just made me want a cigarette. But if they said, hey, if you join this free program to stop smoking, and we could tell if you buy cigarettes or you smoke because we have your vitals, we'll give you a $50 coupon for every month you do it.
There's
Like,
definitely ways around it.
Right.
Do something
Very
we
cool.
that incentivize.
Incentivize.
Carrots and sticks. You need a nice mix of both.
I need money on my stick. Take your carrot and stuff it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now, this next one, once resistant Kanye West files NFT trademark applications. That's
Oh,
goes with Buck has done
that's
his
the
homework
t-shirt.
here,
Oh,
and that's Buck's t-shirt. Now, yeah, because Kanye West and Cheese and I, we talked about this, I don't know, way back, that Kanye put this thing out on Twitter or Instagram or something.
And what did I tell you?
Yeah, he was going to do it anyway.
He was going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he does say here, my focus is on building real products in the real world, real food, real clothes, real shelter. Do not ask me to do a fucking NFT. And then he said, ask me later at the bottom. So he has given himself get out of jail free clause at the bottom there.
Of course, he's a Gemini like me. He knows how to act stupid and he knows how to act smart. Of course, he does a little bit more stupid than smart, but still, it's all a game. I think he is probably the most intelligent person we could know, but he's just playing stupid because you don't get into as much trouble when you play stupid nowadays. Everybody has like I don't know. So, you play stupid. That's your free get out of jail
all the
free.
way to the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll buy his NFT. I love ye.
Well, I want to commend the dedication to whoever did follow up on his note and reminded him later. Like, hey, Yi, remember that NFT thing?
Or
That
was
is
it the
gumption.
plan all along?
That person deserves a raise.
Yeah. I'll say. So yeah, interesting to see how that all plays out as well. But no doubt he's in the line to make another boatload of money. Just
wait till I get my money, right?
Yeah.
And you can't tell me nothing, right?
You can't.
There you go.
A good one. That's a great quote.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Great drop.
All right, this next one was interesting. Former OpenSea executive arrested and charged with insider trading on NFTs by the FBI.
Whoa. Insider trading on NFTs? What the fuck is that?
Wow,
It's the power everybody in Upland wants to have.
Yeah.
To catch these cheaters.
No, wait a second.
Straight to jail.
So all right. I'm going to associate because that's the best way I know how to kind of understand this. And sorry about the hands, I'm Italian. So this is like, let's say someone like, and sorry for calling out, but just for an example, a Shiba or an X1 telling a friend on the side, hey, buy in this area. This is going.
These are the
so
ultra-rares.
you could go to jail for that.
Oh yeah, because you're talking about real money.
Yeah. No, that makes me happy. Because I always wondered, like, can this be a thing? And yeah, this can be a thing, and very well is a thing in a lot of places. I'm not saying Upland. I love Upland. Everyone should come to Upland and have an account.
Yeah. So your example is bang on. So it says this guy, Chastain, was accused of front-running purchases of NFT collections that he knew were about to be featured prominently on the homepage of OpenSea. So it's exactly what you're suggesting there. It's as simple as it sounds. It's insider trading. You have information that you know is going to be extremely valuable, and you act on that for your own commercial gain. Yep.
I love this.
Yes.
I love this because, oh my gosh, this makes me feel better.
This is interesting. When I read this, it seemed to me like this is like the first Plinko disc, right? That's falling into okay, so this kind of NFT is a security that needs to be regulated because like artwork or stocks, knowing something like Ben said about the product ahead of time and then sharing that information is disadvantageous. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it says NFTs might be new, but this type of criminal scheme is not. So it's a well-established play. Yeah. So
all right. This made me happy. This is great.
Well, it says OpenSea was recently valued at 13.3 billion. So it's up there. The carrot there to do some tricky things is quite substantial. There was accusations back in the day against a certain player who may have cracked some of the Manhattan codes as far as some of the collections that were going to be revealed. And I do know personally, I saw some, Upland has leaked some stuff here, there, and everywhere. And there was a situation, and this happened recently in one of the releases, where some very clever people see the images that Upland puts out as far as their promotion, and then they kind of back engineer that to work it out. That's different.
That's public. Like that's everybody is seeing it, and then what they make of it is like a trivia.
But what's the difference between that and somebody who's very code savvy and who can dive into that side of things and pull up some images that are within the system that haven't been released that have collection cards on it?
I don't see that
different.
I see that if it's open, if it's something that you can actually see without it having a clause.
Yeah.
I think that's still on Upland because it should be protected better. And they're the ones that made it to be seen. Like the person's not an employee of Upland. They were just able to get that information because it was out there.
Yeah.
Sort of.
It's more of a security loophole or mistake on Upland's end.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. I mean, a great example would have been, I remember after they did the first city tour with Loyal Doyle in LA, he wasn't allowed to mint anything. And if you noticed, he did have a quiet period from like just before, I think, that video up until after that video where he didn't post anything. So
was his dad able to mint? Because that would be a form.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, who knows? That could be the crazy loophole that this guy was trying to find, right?
But not really, because in a lot of clauses,
that's
say
inside
friends
trading.
And family, they ask you. They ask you, do you have any family that plays the game? Yeah. When I worked at Goldman Sachs, I wouldn't have been able to invest at all. Like even my family had to follow the 30-day rule and the restricted trading rule.
Isn't that Isn't it strange though? Like, but yet in U.S. politics, for sure, I know where you have some of your politicians are multi hundreds of millions of dollars they've got because they've made huge gains on the stock market as partners of somebody who's in control of the regulations of the stock market.
Yeah.
So it's like it seems like a do as I say, not do as I do situation.
Yeah, and in the unfortunate case in that too is they are also the regulators. So it's they themselves. I think the last time it was there was a rash of Republicans that got caught, particularly in Georgia, and it was no more than a slap on the wrist. I mean, way less than definitely this guy's going to get. in doing the same thing. It's just, one holds the keys to the castle and one doesn't.
True. Yep. All right. Well, we'll see how that goes. And just to wrap up on this last one, I thought this was pretty cool. And I was a big fan of the old Looney Tunes back in the day. So Warner Brothers and Nifty's to launch Looney Tunes story bolstered by NFTs.
Yay.
Now, do you think that will only have a particular audience, or do you think that both young and old will go to it? Because I've been seeing like a lot of the more nostalgic stuff doesn't really sell as well. Like the good example would be when that NFT project came out. Who's the guy? Ryu and Sub-Zero and
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that didn't really, or Street Fighter it was. I said the wrong people. That didn't do as well as I thought it would, or like Garbage Pail Kids or stuff like that. Like, do you think getting the older classic stuff is a big mistake when we have so many new people coming into like younger people coming into the NFT space? Like, why not do something that they can relate to, like a South Park or Family Guy? I mean, even those are old, but they're still relevant today in the media.
What about your kids, Buck? I can speak from my kids that my kids have recently discovered Looney Tunes because as I said, it might have been the UDU podcast. The city that I live in is essentially the Vegas of Australia, and this is where all the theme parks are. And one of the biggest theme parks, which is just up the road from me, is Warner Brothers Movie World. So it's kind of like a Universal Studios sort of thing. We go there pretty regularly because we have passes and whatnot. And through that, my kids started asking about what are these characters. So we dove into some of the old shows, and they just went down a rabbit hole, and they love it. Piss themselves laughing, because you just don't see that kind of slapstick violence comedy in cartoons these days. And if you do, it's more in the South Parks or whatever that's more adult orientated. You think of Elmer Fudd blowing the head off Daffy Duck or whatever, and so my kids are all about it at the moment. So how about yourself, Buck?
My daughters are older, 16 and 13-year-old twins. So, they love Looney Tunes and they have their favorite cartoons. This one's interesting because it's very similar to what they did with the Blade Runner animated series, where each episode was an NFT. I know Coach Funk in Upland, he has a Seed Heads collection, which is an NFT comic book hybrid. So, I think this will have a greater audience cheese than I think like the Funko stuff, because that's, Funko does have to back it up with an actual collectible for it to be.
Funko is like more geeky oriented. Like, it's not really out. If they had a Funko cartoon or something, it's sort of like apples and oranges.
Yeah, they've been doing their retro series. So they just released a bunch of Scooby-Doo NFTs. They did the retro cartoons like with Popeye, the old Flash Gordon. So they're dipping their toe in that. I assume the same, like I've noticed a lot of pop culture things these days are starting to figure out that 35 and up is where the money is at. So they're catering to that first, because these meta kids, like, they shop different.
But they get the money from their parents.
Well, that too, but they do shop different. Like, my daughters tend to, buy their products based on influencers versus traditional marketing. Even though corporations are starting to hire influencers to be traditional spokespeople.
They always did.
Yeah, but once that person is like, oh, they're on TV, like they're on to the next influencer. So it's like they're constantly recycling out the garbage.
That's kind of hypocritical. Every influencer you see has been paid or sponsored.
Oh yeah.
To do that. So like once they become too mainstream, I don't know. It's a little hypocritical in my opinion.
It is, but that's the shopping habit, right? Where you know, maybe our generation, we needed this to see the same commercial over and over again to finally get brand name and recognition, as to where these kids can recycle through brands just based on who's selling them. Because we see the lifespan of an influencer is very, very short.
Yeah, I can only kind of associate it with my 10-year-old niece, where she is very much into the girly stuff, but she's very much into the other stuff too. Like she plays Minecraft. She likes that game.
Roblox.
Roblox. She's always asking me, "Oh, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for your birthday?" Roblox bucks.
Yeah.
And she spends money like water.
Oh yeah.
Right. And then the parents are so busy, so they're like, "Oh, you know, we're not giving enough love, so let's kind of throw some money at you," sort of thing. So this is for uncaring parents, Ben. You're a caring parent.
Yes, well, I don't have money to throw at my children as much as I'd like to.
Well, then it's a good thing you care about them. Yeah.
my kids have learned all about the grind. I was like, if you want that, well, you're going to have to grind it out in game.
Well, you're better than most, Ben. Yeah. You're better than most.
Yeah, I took advantage of the whole Roblox phenomena to teach my kids about investment. So, you know, the same value systems of certain things having greater rarity or utilization in the game has a greater value. And then I translated that to actual teaching them about stocks. Like, oh, that's the same thing. Like this blue chip, you know, that has a dividend yield is just like that boot and skirt collection. You know, so that there were these connections that luckily we were able to.
Boot and skirt collection could actually be worth more. You never know.
You never know. Yeah.
You really never know, just because there's a skirt in there, buck. Yep. Not a buck. But until Roblox becomes NFT and owner, like I don't see much value in there at all.
It's very soon, according to their investor prospectus. It's within the next couple of years that they're going to open it up to the public as a metaverse.
That would be cool. That would be freaking cool.
And that's my second son. He's gearing up to get his YouTube show on through the MBE kicked off, and that's what his angle is. He come up with his angle that, you know, he plays all these games and he's like, well, Dad, isn't this already a metaverse? And I'm like, yeah, it is. And maybe you can explain the reasons why you think so, that sort of stuff. So
if you haven't seen his episode, Buck, you should really see it. This kid is beyond his age.
Yeah, I'm totally going to watch it. That's great.
Yeah, I think it was number 18 or something like that. We'll find out. But yeah.
Amazing, smart. So cool.
Just to wrap this article up, I think, yeah, like you said, Buck, it's cool that they're not just putting these NFTs out as, oh, here's, you know, Daffy Duck. This is the Daffy Duck NFT. It is tied to a story. So it does say, yeah, it's a story-driven NFT collection, which is cool. So I guess that's kind of, as you said, with Seed Heads or other projects like Metaverse and things like that. So
Metaverse, yep, that one too.
There we go. All right, so that was quite a long one today. A lot of spielage today.
A lot of spielage, yeah.
I'm a talker. Sorry about that.
I like it. No, I like it. Dude, please.
So now we get to find out about yourself, Buck.
We always like
to... No, wait, I'm never going to say it. You're never going to get me to say it. What are you doing?
I'm writing it down so you can say it.
I ain't saying it.
Come on, say it.
Come on, say it.
No.
Come on. Come on.
Where's that doll? Choke that doll. Yeah.
Pour us a hot cup of coffee.
There you go.
Yeah, we got the nice one. Nice cheese.
Nice cheese.
So we've recently taken to scolding our guests and saying, "Who are you? Why are you here?"
I am here to tell everybody that the metaverse can be had right now. That's my whole kind of spiel and mission is let's metaverse now. The technology's out there, as we saw with the top 5 things that are revolutionizing things. You know, NFTs as certificates of ownership or other kind of utility stuff. That's part of my hackathon presentation was using NFTs as a ticketing system, particularly with season tickets. We have the NFLPA, and hopefully they get something going on about that with with the cards this next with the legits this next season. So a ticketing system would be great. And then we blend that metaverse part with the reality, the tangibility. Every time I do hear a Mark Cuban or Niles Woolsey from HoloRide talk about it's us metaversers responsibility to fill in what the metaverse is. I always fall back on what makes NFTs a thing, right? They're collectibles. And then tangibility is what the mass market always needs. Like, you can explain to somebody what a NFT is. It's a collectible, it's digital. You can carry it around in this little keychain thing. But unless you tell them you can carry it around in a little keychain thing, then they're gonna be like, why do I need it? Like, they have no reason for it. So like you'll see in Vegas, and I've shown here before, we have wood burn cards that are these little 4x4 wood plaques that I laser burn, and the image of your property card has all the information and stuff to then have a tangibility aspect to it. And then on top of that, the great thing is the ability to then augment it, and be able to see, oh wow, that's really cool. It's actually something else.
Nice.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And it's funny that you mentioned the little keychain thing. That's a Black Mirror thing, isn't it?
Yeah. The keychain NFT thing is a concept that's constantly getting recycled, because it started off. I bought a bunch of them for cheap, but that's because originally they were for pictures, and nobody really wanted to have a 1-inch screen to see a picture of their grandkids. But for an NFT, it works perfect, because all you have to do is show it to get a discount on some coffee, or as I hope, get some dispensary goods, or go to a bar and get a free drink, stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it just looks like we've dropped your camera there, Buck.
Okay.
There we go. You might have to wiggle a wire or something.
Did you try turning it off and on again?
He's like you. He's got his arms everywhere. I love it.
I know.
Yeah. I'm Latino. This is how we talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that stuck out to me as far as you coming on the scene was that it was very cool to see how you were blending the kind of real and digital worlds. Like some of the things you were doing with spamming, like your QR codes and that sort of stuff all around the place. Can you speak to us about how you went about doing that, and anything associated with that sort of things that you're playing around with? And
So
you're gearing up to do that in Vegas again. So
yeah, and putting that out there was a way to show people that we can begin adding things in our real world. Now, I unfortunately, like I kind of almost do with a lot of stuff, I trip into them. For some reason, I get a failed to start video camera error. Sorry. Is that the Vegas thing, all the AR, that is how we're going to be able to have fun with this, because it is just digital assets, digital stuff that is not tangible. Augmenting our world, Pokemon has been doing it for a few years now. Like it's almost like we are all, as a mass market, waiting for the metaverse to happen, and then companies come along and give us metaverse things. Well, I think it's about time for us to put on our big boy metaverse pants and go metaverse on our own, in a sense, because nothing's stopping us. The tools are there. We just got to go and do it. Some of us, like you two, myself and Buck, we're all looking to get that going for, everybody else, the common man, common woman.
That's good. I'm going to make a plushie of you now. Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, just looking at the Upland community and how much they've done, you and others and just everyone, smart enough to get in on it when you can right now. And this whole hackathon thing, I think this is just the beginning. Like, we're going to see so much more coming out, and it's exciting. It's exciting to be here in the beginning. And I see us as pioneers. I see us as the front runners. It's going to be cool.
Yes, and big kudos to you and to the other groups that, again, are forerunners. I watched your show before I got into Upland. I watched other things to be able to get me to understand, like, what the hell I'm stepping into. And that's what being leaders, being founders of a concept, and eventually a product, do is they blaze that trail, and you guys blazed it in a great way for the entertainment. I would not be surprised, and I would be totally happy if your entertainment company MVE is exactly the first, let's say, channel of Upland.
We're not in the Upland circle. We love Upland.
Well, no, that's the thing, though. Not necessarily Upland sponsored, because they're gonna have their own channel. They're gonna do their own thing. I'm talking about like channel. Like, people are gonna turn on their Upland TVs and they're gonna turn on MVE for their content. They'll go to Upland for stuff, just like we go to news or news C-SPAN for news.
That was kind of when Cheese and I were spitballing the idea for this show in particular. We're both heavily involved in Upland, and we kind of got that side of things covered, but we wanted to do more in the space, and we didn't want to get pigeonholed into something. So, the concept of this show allowed us to pretty much do whatever we want within the whole Web3 space. And that kind of led to, most of our stuff was just getting published under Upland Development United. But again, that's putting us into a box, into a corner, where the whole MVE thing was, that allowed us to do whatever we want in the space and, get other people involved. So, that pretty much what you've said there is exactly why we came up with it and why we established it, was to get, a kind of one-stop shopping area. Like, it's almost like a TV guide sort of thing. That's kind of how we envision it. So we'll see.
Yeah. And I mean, beyond TV guide, I mean, you guys would be definitely what I see, like, what we know of in streaming services, like the Netflix. It's the one-stop shop. You get your different kinds of content, whether it be comedy or analytics, stuff like that. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, like we're always spitballing ideas for different shows and whatnot. We have tried a few shows that haven't worked. We've tried a few different things that haven't worked. It just becomes, at the moment, it's just a case of timing. Like, I'm sure you yourself would understand that too as a creative. You have all these ideas, but you can only spin so many plates at once. Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. Totally. At the beginning of Buck and getting the word out, I was putting out a video maybe every 3 days. Then it went to 7. Now I'm lucky if I get one every couple of weeks.
Yeah. I love your intro when you do the proper full one. It just cracks me up laughing. But I don't know why it always times out well, but it seems to be just when I'm in that winding down, getting into bed, I just want to watch something, for 15, 20 minutes. It's always cool.
Yeah. Bucky steals the show every time.
Yeah, I've become addicted to like Upland podcasts. I even said, I don't care if you're bad. You could be really bad, I'll still watch you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, no, not you, but like just in general.
Upland podcasts and all that stuff. Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah, I think I mentioned recently somewhere where I was watching something I was watching something, or I was listening to it doing the dishes, and I didn't realize until I was about 10 minutes in, because I listened to everything at 2x or 3x speed, that it was actually in Punjabi. It was in Indian. I was like,
awesome.
yeah, because my brains are used to catching, at 3x speed, you're not getting all of the finer details. You're just catching a few bits and pieces and putting it all together mentally. But yeah, it took me a while to work out. Hang on a minute, something going on here. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and I think that's only the very leading edge of what's to come too. You see this with like how many Minecraft channels are there, or how many YouTubers are there that devoted specifically to Minecraft. I think Upland will eventually end up in the same space. Like a lot of people I've seen recently on Twitter, actually, like there'll be all these articles about Decentraland, Sandbox, blah, 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 blah. People are starting to ask the questions, and we have too on this show, is why is Upland not part of these conversations yet? Obviously, for those of us that are in early, there's kind of a lot of benefits to still flying under the radar, but it does make you wonder, why? What's your take on that? Why hasn't Upland received any kind of full-on mainstream push just yet?
I don't think they want it just yet.
Yep.
What about you, Buck?
Yeah, no, I think the same thing. Particularly with social media being basically free airspace, that they're still kind of small timing it. And yeah, Cheese, I think you're right. I think they don't want it yet. I think it's kind of like if they do step into that conversation, then everybody's gonna compare them to Sandbox and Decentraland, and even Blankos, which doesn't also advertise as much, but is far more graphically advanced.
Yeah.
Than Upland.
I just think they want it to be where less people are angry than they are now. I mean, but seriously, you want new people to come in. Mm-hmm. The first thing you don't want them to see is a whole bunch of people ragging on something because they're just like on their periods.
Their periods. I've never heard that before. Periods. That's hilarious.
Periods.
I'm going to use that so much now. I'm on my period. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So yeah.
Wait till I drop that one on the wife.
She loves it. I hope she loves that he uses it against you. What's wrong, Ben? Are you on your period or something? But yeah, I think they want a more positive atmosphere in the Discord, in the Twitter, YouTube. Like they have a pretty good, in my opinion, reputation and feedback, but except for in the App Store. But I think they want to be more prepared for when they fully go mainstream.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think ultimately it's for the best. Like they do as well, Spruik, that we're still in beta. We haven't got cars there's no utility for properties. There's no rental system and all that sort of stuff. There isn't the NFT portals there, but not really. So yeah, once all of that stuff's established, that's when you want to be onboarding mainstream, when there's a lot more interactivity to do and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think ultimately it's a smart play. As frustrating as it is, like I'd like my bags to be pumped up to the moon, but
it's bittersweet though. I mean, for a whale like yourself, I could see that. But
stop calling me a whale.
Oh, but he had the plushie. That's why I never called you a whale before.
It looked like a slightly obese dolphin to me.
All right, so being a slightly obese dolphin as yourself, Ben, you have your investment in there. But and even me, like I have pretty decent investment in there. Like I'm at 45 million UPX. It's I'm a fat dolphin as well. But those who are I just forgot what the hell we're talking about.
I don't know. I've just got a new acronym.
Shit. Right in the middle of my conversation. What the hell are we talking about? Just tell me real quick.
I got no idea. That's all right. We got 20 chatting.
I think I got a video going. No, I don't.
I just got a new acronym, which was SLOBBed, slightly obese dolphin. So I'm a slobbed.
I'm a slob too.
Yeah.
But wait.
There we go.
No, seriously, what were we talking about?
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is the worst show ever. I've got no idea.
Shut up, Ben. Let him tell me. Hurry up.
About the way Upland advertises and how kind of lame it is.
On under the radar, yeah, but it's still flying under the radar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate
and not going mainstream yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean,
pumping bags.
For the most part, definitely it probably is that they don't want to be compared to the bigger, games. And then people are going to ask, well, what about, what do you have a Nike? Like, people start asking questions they can't answer.
So that's what we're talking about, Cheese. We're talking about pumping our bags up to the moon.
Oh, okay. So there's people who I still don't understand.
Well, actually,
at least we got a good acronym out of it.
That we did.
Slob.
To jump off what you did say, though, the bittersweet thing is it does allow for somebody like me who's trying to onboard small businesses an opportunity to do that. Because bringing on small businesses where in a space that hasn't blown up is a lot more attainable. So we have a very low buy-in, for example, for companies into Upland that sets them up with their property in Upland, if it's available, a building, and their director BE, which is the instant, let's say, logofication of them in Upland. So now they have that established, and then we can work on the rest. So that's the bittersweet part, I guess.
I'm so glad you said that, because that's one of the main points I wanted to talk to you about, and I've completely blanked on it until you dropped that then, was the stuff you have been doing to reach out to small businesses and try to get them involved. Like, I remember seeing whether it's you're doing email campaigns or you're even door knocking and that sort of stuff. Can you speak to us about like what you got going on there? Like, what are the benefits that you see in that for yourself, the companies, Upland as a whole, anything?
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, definitely the number one benefit is, for me personally, is being tied to these brands and brand name, companies and the brands in the metaverse. Because if, let's say, the way we have it set up, they do have their own shop, but then we'll have in the Buck stores, Buck Explorers, some other exclusive explorers or decorations or whatever, product we're selling from them in our stores, where you can't find anywhere else. So we do obviously benefit in the basic capitalist way of vertical integration. But for the companies themselves, like I said, they get into a space that is still affordable, not only for them, but for the general market themselves. Because that's the thing. I mean, Nike is doing great, I'm sure, selling stuff in Sandbox, but that's it. Like, you already have to be in the Sandbox because nobody else is going into Sandbox.
Oh, that's so cool. I like that.
So in this case, yeah, we're not pumping our bags to the moon, but we're going to have enough brands eventually through what we're trying to do with, with small businesses, that when they do, like, these companies are going to blow up with us, and they'll be probably one of the greater or better catalysts, hype people to have, right? In my case, like, I'm really working with, or trying to work with dispensaries because they have a product that is highly popular, but you can't sell on e-commerce. You can sell in e-commerce in certain markets. Like in LA, I can go to my local dispensary's web store, order on their online menu, and get it delivered. But not every market. And so, yeah, you have to go along with the way the legality of it happens. But there's still a way to, for example, with the AR, we're creating AR nuggets that these dispensary owners in markets where they can't transfer their goods, they can take these AR nuggets and showing their customers, right, the quality of it, because a lot of it is in 4K, high definition, and then you back it up with a great idea that a dispensary owner that I'm working with has is he's rubbing some of the nuggets on perfume swaths because they are of a certain cotton fiber density that absorbs odors very, very well and keeps them. So now he has the visual and the olfactory, the smell part of it down, and he can go to any farmer's market and say, if you're ever in this area, you know, or you can place an order for this here now. Thank you for showing the website. A lot of people do get confused with the opening page. Like, why is there soap?
Yeah.
But I like it. I did it because I wanted it to be sort of like walking through the looking glass, where you're just like, what is this? And then you go into it deeper and you're like, oh, you have this and you have that other thing. And it's all in-game function.
Yeah, if you're on the Spotify, head on over to boarduplander.club to check out Buck's website. Now, this kind of concept of, you know, reaching out to the in-game companies and that sort of stuff, Cheese has done that with a kind of wider net with McDonald's and Burger Kings and all sorts of stuff like that. When you're doing this, are you doing that on the front end or the back end? Like, say there's a city release coming out like Las Vegas. Are you researching specific companies and addresses that you want to buy because you want to reach out to them, or are you doing what you do and then on the back end you're doing some backtracking and figuring out, okay, what have I actually bought here? What is this property NFT that I've bought?
Both. So
cool.
On the front end, we do a lot of research there. We have great guys that do analytics and they post that up there in the club channel. But because I already have an idea of the kinds of businesses, the industries I want to go after first, which are, you know, again, logo heavy, no real e-commerce ability, then I'll be able to mint some things that I know, or, you know, obviously marked also, will be advantageous. But then as I'm minting, or if I go back on and then look at what I minted it maybe in a cluster, I'll find a hidden gem, an unmarked business, you know, that I can say, oh yes, that's one that I need to keep, even though it's unmarked and, you know, in another city that I can just reach out because everything's, you know, email heavy and image based, and I got the website. And so eventually that then does lead to a phone conversation. And mostly here in LA and San Francisco, I've had face-to-face where I sit down with somebody, explain what Upland is. I've gotten a couple to sign up, you know, there. And so we can go through the gamification of it and explanation.
So basically, it sounds like you've set up a service consultancy onboarding kind of system for companies it's Web 3.0. Okay.
So because we're all of a certain age, we've seen this before. If I was smart enough back in 95, 96, 97 and bought a bunch of domain names, it would have been the same thing. Hey, I got this domain name. What is that? Oh, it's this thing called the web, and blah, 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 through the whole spiel. I'm kind of just old enough and wiser and now have the funds to do that and not miss out on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any one particular success story that you've had that you could speak to? We're
having really good success, and I was able to get them to let me use their name. There's two companies. Just Squeezed is a lemonade stand service that only does music festivals. So I got to meet Josh back in 2016 when I found them on Facebook. He was hiring workers to work the lemonade stands at Coachella. So I was like, yes, I'm going to go do that. Just another way to experience that, right? And did it, got to know him. And then I reached out to him this last Coachella where I posted, you know, you guys saw a lot of AR content. and said, hey, I have this laser engraver. I can make these plaques that can connect to a QR code that has this AR aspect to whatever you want. And he's like, well, I'm always hiring. Can you get it to go to my hiring portal? Yes. And we did. And it's a really cool AR graphic of his logo, has a push button that you press on your screen, and it sends you straight to his application. And so we put him up on all the lemonade stands. And, according to the analytics, people were using it. Now, we do have the barrier of, one, we're at a music festival, so attention span is, limited. But two, and the biggest one that I think us trailblazers have to deal with is either app or technology adjustments. So some people had phones that were capable of AR, but they didn't have the AR app, Adobe Aero or Flam or Overly, right? So that's one hurdle. And then on the other end, people probably knew about those apps and wish they could use them on their older phones, but their older phones turn into, hot bricks, once you start running stuff like that. So, it's, these hurdles you get over, and then eventually once you do, then people understand like, oh shit, this is just, another marketplace. And for brick and mortar business people, that is, for them, a great, revenue stream, passive revenue. Like my front end pitch to them is like, hey, do you sell t-shirts and hoodies? Most of these places say yes, or some kind of like merch. And then for how much, top end is $65 to, $70. Well, what if we take that same logo with zero storage, shipping, paying, a printer to put them on the swag, and we create a $200 block explorer, and then we can make 100 of them. Like that gets those wheels spinning of, oh, I don't need to have 100 sweaters taking up the back of my bathroom.
Well, that's kind of what Cheese is setting up with the new merch store that you're working on too, is kind of making it much more user-friendly and putting systems in place so that the actual content creators get the bulk of the profits, not the businesses in the back end.
Yeah, I'm looking into Spotify as well, and I'm looking to kind of have like a way for people to access it, like Ben said, from every avenue.
Well, it's kind of interesting too. I think that what you've described there, Buck, is that the barriers to entry, or the hurdles, they're kind of education and engagement hurdles rather than financial hurdles. You're not talking about like companies that want to get involved with you. They're not having to spend squillions of dollars. It's just more of them getting their heads around what can be done.
Yeah, correct. And because we already have a real world example to point to, like you can't get into Sandbox without 10 G's because Nike's there. Yeah. So, spend half of that in Upland, and, Nike will follow you. And once it does, then, that investment for your company turns out to be a good one.
Cool. All right. Now, I believe you're going to try and restart your computer. So if you want to go ahead and do that, Cheese and I'll just waffle on.
Oh.
I'm sure if you want my video. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It'll take a second. Yeah.
You're all right.
All right. Ben wants to see your handsome face.
Want to see him choking that cheese doll?
No. She's getting the soft, gentle pets.
Feel it. I could feel a little tension here.
Have you had, like, I know, Cheese, with the stuff that you've done with reaching out to McDonald's and that, I know you've had some in real life conversations with, who was it? Who was the lady that you spoke to who was a rep of Starbucks or something?
Starbucks and Costco.
Has there been any signs of like further interest, or was that always just like, oh, that's kind of interesting?
Well,
has there been any follow-up?
I did email her and she got back to me, but I think she mostly just wanted to be a friend. Like she was kind of trying to hire me to have to work for her company sort of thing. But what she does is she promotes businesses through putting up like stands in various places, sort of like the lemonade people, but she does it with all different kinds of products. But I'd like to know that if she did hear about Metaverse, the first thing that comes up to her mind is me, because like I kind of gave her all the links, I gave her all the stuff to follow, I gave her our YouTube video link and whatnot, you know. But with the other businesses, they always just send me coupons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have to like find a way to kind of like meet these people at some sort of convention or something.
Yeah, I think it's like Buck kind of alluded to. It's you might contact, you know, 1,000 companies, but until you get that one person who gets it, you know, you're kind of pissing in the wind, for a lack of a better term. But yeah. Oh, here he comes. There he goes.
Oh, here he comes. Yay!
There he is.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, nice. It worked.
Nice. Yeah, so Cheese and I were just talking about how with things like what she's doing with reaching out to companies and yourself too, is you have to cast quite a large net until you can, you know, you can touch on those one or two people who get it, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. And that wide net, you know, just like, you know, fishermen, you have concentrated sectors, right? They know an area where they're going to get a cluster to pick up. So that's why I kind of, my wide net is anything that is logo based, but has no commerce, dispensaries, bars, most restaurants. And then I focus, you know, my local neighborhood in San Pedro. You know, I go to San Francisco a lot. Now Las Vegas, pick up some business there, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, it'll be fun.
Like,
And I guess it's a case. Oh, sorry, Cheese, go ahead.
Sorry,
well,
go.
I was just gonna say, like, I have some big ideas for Ben's store when it comes online, because I want to. I don't know if I should be saying this, but I want to start reaching out to some of the more higher end quality outdoor decor brick and mortars and see if maybe we can put one of their designs along with ours, and then you go to our website and we could say, do you like this design in Upland? Here's where you buy it, and see if we can get a bit of sponsorship from them as well.
Yeah, we're just going to have to see. Upland, I believe, will play a kind of gatekeeper role there. So we're just going to see what they're going to let us get away with. Because I think somebody has already mentioned about branding and they kind of palmed it off a bit. But yeah, it will end up there for sure, without a doubt. If it all succeeds and continues to go on, yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, they can't really say anything if our item looks like something in a storefront. What, are they going to check all the stores? That's A.
Yeah.
And B, we're not taking UPX out of the game. These are people who want to put this in real life backyards.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be paying
totally.
UPX.
We could definitely do it on our end as far as like having a website dedicated to it.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah,
And
no, totally.
guess...
And I mean, the only way that I think Upland would probably start, you know, getting on our case about it is the gameplay part of it, right? Like, how, you know, what model do we have to follow, you and I, Cheese and Ben, that the NFLPA is following with their players? I doubt they're logging into their Upland accounts themselves, you know, most of the time. So, like, if that's the model we can use for businesses that, you know, may not have a dedicated Uplander yet, you know, or who knows, maybe they can break off somebody in the e-commerce department and say, hey, there's this new Web3 platform. Go fucking figure it out. Like
if they were smart, like as soon as the NFLPA came out, I started following people on Twitter, football players that are in the NFLPA.
Mm-hmm.
They could then on their Twitter promote their website. I can then go there and they can have merchandise, like in real life merchandise, NFLPA shirts or their likeness on it. They could really make this a big thing. I'm surprised I haven't really heard from any of them, to be quite honest. Like, somebody needs to go get them and say, hey, do you need help? Like,
yeah, because I mean, that whole process is what, you know, a DAO, a decentralized automated organization is, right? Where you have just images all over the place. And then when somebody wants that image on something, they press a button and it then tells whoever makes it directly. And that's why it's amazing for creators, because it goes directly to me. I get an email. It doesn't go to, Etsy first, and then Etsy then knows how much of a cut it needs to take. It's a direct, I put out the NFT, it's my image or an image I created for somebody else, whatever business, and boom, push button.
Yeah, and it becomes almost, I think, for things that you like what you're doing, it becomes like maybe FOMO is not right, but definitely a snowball, where the more companies that you can get involved, and the next one you go to and you can say, look, this is what we've done for this place, and these are the products, the extra stuff, because it's always going to come back down to, it's either going to have to come back down to engagement, whether that be new customers or that kind of stats, or it's going to have to come down to economics, where they've created this extra income stream and that sort of stuff. So correct. Yeah, and I guess it depends on the person's or that business owner's I guess business and desired form of doing business in the metaverse. Because like the lemonade stand guy, he just wants it for engagement, right? Yeah.
Use the metaverse to hire people. As to our dispensary, like you mentioned, is more B2B or business to customer type of direct sales.
And that's, you'll find a great amount of people doing that. Like, can you imagine somebody who doesn't go out or actively look for work but needs it, and then they're in NFTs or in the metaverse, they love it, and they're like, oh, I'm a very personable person. I like to interact with people. I could sell lemonade. and it's a way for them to experience an event. Yeah. So like, that's amazing. Like, I could see that being a great thing. Like something like that will reach a really wide audience that way. Mm-hmm. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, what about going back to what you mentioned with the 360 camera, the stuff you were doing with that? How did that all come about, and where do you see that going in the future?
Again, me getting into metaverse investment, you always have to search for what that means. Like, what am I investing into, right? Even down to stocks and commodities, like oranges. I got to know about oranges. So in this case, every time I dipped into it, it was a lot of the conversation revolved around immersiveness. Like the metaverse is like the web streams that we have now, but I can throw on this headset and experience it in real life, in a sense. So I figured, okay, well, what technology is out there for that? And saw that there's plenty. For COVID, I was lucky enough to get involved with a local artist who rents out his Matterport camera. And so I was like, okay, I saw the trend of things going online, particularly real estate, and took a few pictures. A friend of mine is a real real estate photographer, and went on shoots with him to help do that. So and learned that technology. And then I went out and got what was the most attainable for, let's say, a regular person. A 360 camera, or the Insta360, runs about $300, and shoots great 4K video in a 360 way that when you upload it to YouTube, it's VR ready. You just click the little glass icon on there, and you have your headset, and it loads it up for you. So since most headsets come with YouTube or other streaming apps like that are capable, already logged in. So it kind of just already, I'm impatient in that way. This is the nature versus nurture. My mom is a serial entrepreneur. I describe her to everybody that she is the character that Keenan Ivory Wayans played in Living Color, again, aging us, where he was a Jamaican guy and he had like 15 million
time
jobs.
to go to work.
At your age, I was a planter, a baker. Yeah, that's my mom. And so she nurtured me in that way, where it's like, if you see what everybody else sees, we are the market. Then go and find a way to give them that. And my mom, being an immigrant, single mom, and obviously very lacking in funds, had to find the most practical way to do it. So she's opened restaurants, flower gift shops, a beauty salon. I mean, she's done all. So she saw what the trend was in that neighborhood or certain areas, and like a fisherman, she just cast a wide net, saw what everybody liked, and then slowly pulled that net into being whatever that business is. And then the moment like people like got bored of it, like it's like 2 to 4 year cycle, she started sometimes in the same building, same storefront, another business. Just a good way. So weirdly, I'm like that. And when it came to the metaverse,
explains a lot.
Yeah, it hits so many lanes for me. Like, I'm a creative. I love tech. This is investment, community organizing. It's like, like I'm good at this. And then I went ahead and, went and did it and found the most practical way. So, expanding the idea of the 360 camera for our Block 205 project. I want to sell NFTs to raise funds to buy 5 more of these, and then somewhat like a Netflix service, send them out to my creative artists. Now I'm filling up, Project 205 is the 205th block of St. Albers, where the Run DMC JMJ Way is. I bought up that whole block so I can just fill it with musicians, producers of the hip hop culture, creatives, influencers, so that I can send them these cameras. They record content, and we have a summer block party every year. They return the cameras. I send them out to other creatives, artists, particularly when they're, in the middle of painting. People want to sit in that studio and see this person. So I'm painting a mural right now at my wife's elementary school. And for most of it, once I get the background done, I'm going to record in 360, awesome. On weekends when the kids aren't there. So people can be in that space with me, creating.
Did you paint that behind you?
Yes.
It's lovely. It's so beautiful. Now, where are you from originally?
Born and raised in Hollywood, California.
All right.
Yeah. So I guess, again, the nature part of it, right? I was already in this entertainment, image-friendly space. And then that serial entrepreneur. I mean, I love business. I mean, I love art. I love being an artist, but I went to school for it. My mom raised me in it, and so now I hit my lane here. It's so I'm making merch now.
Yeah, it's that what you've said there explains so much. Like I've seen what you've done with the Upland Racing League when that's come a lot online, and you've grabbed that little nugget and started to blow that up into its own thing. Yeah. Was Upland your first entry into this space, or were you doing other stuff prior to that?
Honestly, I was studying Roblox with my daughters. Like, they were playing it. I was studying them playing it and the whole market economy that Roblox has, and like where they find the value for the boot and skirt combo versus the crown and top combo. Like, where is this coming from? And why is that thing rare? And blah, blah, blah. And so it's a whole, basically learning a marketplace. I studied international business because I wanted to get into some family business in El Salvador. But learning international business allowed me to understand that, Muslim countries do business way differently. Like, interest rates are illegal, which is like, wow, okay, yes, I want to be in that market. But then there are other, obstacles to entry for that market that don't exist elsewhere, and so on and so forth. So in this case, Roblox was my entry. Then they came out before they went IPO that they want to be a metaverse thing. So I got more into metaverse. So I got into Blankos at the same time as Upland around December of last year. And I ran with this because this, again, hit all my markers. It's a marketplace, it's community building, it's merchandising, it's advertisement, marketing in a sense. And yeah, I'm an artist, so I get to actually share my art with people.
Very cool.
I don't have to wait for galleries to accept me.
Well, that's like Cheese is always talking about thinkers and doers, and again, you're another prime example of somebody who's both. You know, you're a thinker, and I think you're a doer to the extreme level, where you're not a sit back and doer, you're a boots on the ground doer sort of thing. So
yeah, thanks.
Yeah, what, if anything, have you found is restricting you from what you can do at present? Like, what's some additional things that you need to be able to take your engagement, whether it be Upland or the wider space, to the next level kind of thing?
I mean, like any startup, it's funds, right? Being able to, again, have enough cameras to send out to these people and then record, and then the time, which is then to process all this stuff. So luckily, with the growth of the club, I've been very fortunate with having like-minded people buy into it. And that's one of the reasons I do get some shit from people in Upland about why it's a membership pay service. Well, for the very reason that I want you to feel like you are invested in this. Like, I'm not just giving you good content or, a cool space to hang out. Like, we're going to build in this up together. And those that have stepped up, paid the membership fee, have also then stepped up to, do cool things with it. I am Davis, shout out. He's our analytics guy, and he puts out a market report every week. And so we know what we have in-house, and it's great to have. And you can reach out to him immediately and say, hey, what does this look like? Like for the racetracks, for example, I needed to know what, our ownership count per street was, and then what the market was, for the last 30 days in that area, just so that I can get the right fit of the percentage that was required by us to have, either in ownership, control, or consortium, and actual marketability, right? Am I just putting a track in a place that I think is cool, but nobody will want to care to show up, type of thing. So, that having those kind of bonuses, because people feel like the vision is something that they can also participate in. We have passive members too, but that's because we also need, as the doers, the market to test us out in. We're not just going to drop it in Upland and then expect it to be successful, because the market there is too wide. At that point, casting a wide net is just actually throwing the net out into the ocean and then hoping that you can drag it from the bottom of the ocean at some point, right? It's like, no. I mean, it's just, you have to go directly to a more closed source. We tend to do it with friends and family. We test out ideas. Hey, what do you think of this? Or blah, blah, blah. If they say call it stupid, then, kind of pushes us to dig deeper and figure out why it's stupid to somebody else, but not to me.
Yeah.
And
That's cool. I like it.
Yeah, that kind of barrier to entry is something that we learned the hard way through the UDU. Having some element of exclusivity kind of, it weeds out the purely the talkers or the speculators and that sort of stuff. So I think that's a smart play. Yeah, you're always going to get people that poo-poo on your ideas, no matter what you do and how awesome they are.
yeah. And then I'm not worried about them, but at the same time, they're within the market, and so kind of like when I do test things off on my friends and they call it stupid, I want to go find out why. Like, why is he not getting it or they're not getting it? And so because, messaging thing, am I not explaining it right? Or actually, am I not seeing something that they're seeing that will just then be financial ruin? And then I'm making stupid t-shirts.
And that's go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's always so hard when you're so close to a topic too. Like, I know back in my hobby game development days, like I'd work for a month on some particular aspect of a game I was building, and you'd put that out there to your testers, and they're like, oh my God, I hate this. This sucks because of this, this, and this. And you get the feedback and you're like, oh, it's crushing. But you got to put the time and effort into working out why it is that way. And as much as it stings, ultimately it's for the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, true.
Like I was gonna say, like only your really true friends are gonna tell you exactly what's on their minds. Like I would expect if I showed something that I really liked to Ben and he thought it was shit, you better fucking tell me that's fucking shit. And let me tell you why. And I'd be like, thank you. Let me go back to like the drawing board and figure this out to kind of, because you're not making these products for yourself. You're not doing business for yourself. You're doing it for everyone else. So like you're going to take everybody's opinion and kind of put it together to make like what you feel is a better product. So yeah. I appreciate you, Ben.
Right. And as a creative, we do have a streak of egoism because we think our ideas are the best. And so we want to eventually recycle through all the critique to eventually come out with a really nice refined product or more angst to put into the next one.
Yeah, that's always a huge cop-out. When somebody throws the ego card, that's just a cop-out as far as I'm concerned. If you're somebody who's put a lot of time and effort into something, of course you're going to be protective of that idea. Of course you're going to have your strong opinions and whatnot. So I always just kind of laugh that off.
Yeah. Like I'm not much of a confident person, and I don't care about like visual looks or whatever, but my art, I have the biggest freaking head and ego about my art and my business tactics. Like you can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. But like if I have somebody like my business partner Ben, and I appreciate and value like all of his opinions and ideas, and he's very smart, he's very logical. Like where I lack in patience, he makes up for a great deal. Like exactly like my husband, he's very patient. I'm not. It gets me in trouble a lot of the times. And yeah.
But you're open to constructive feedback though. Like
I love it. Before. No, I love your feedback. That's the whole point.
Yeah. No. I mean, we do put those trust markers on certain people that we need to have that feedback on, because living in our own heads, it fucking sucks.
I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to like it, but I'm going to need it.
Yeah,
be like,
exactly.
This is fucking perfect. What is he talking about? So we're like, all right, I guess I see.
Dope.
All right. Well, just as we're kind of wrapping up here, I'd like to go back to Vegas, and you guys are both going to be there, and obviously you're going to be there for the bulk of everything. Like, what are you mainly looking forward to for that? What are you hoping to see as far as like information coming from the Upland team, or releases, or the hackathon, or what's your take on all of that? What are we going to be super excited about in the weeks after Las Vegas?
She's going to go first.
The mustache is twitching.
Yeah, go first.
Both of you.
Well, hopefully racing. Hopefully we're gonna have cars, and we're gonna have racing, and Dak from UCC has this really awesome racing league, and I want to see people get on top of that, and I want to see people kind of throwing events while a race is going on, so you can have multiple things like kind of like going to one of those football things that you don't go see the game, but you do it for like the barbecue in the back. Those Southerners, what the hell do they call it?
The
tailgating.
Tailgaters, yeah.
Yeah, like so you like, all right, I don't really like racing, but this person's going to be there performing. This person's going to be there performing. Like, I want to see more people kind of like, oh, hey, I have an idea. Like, and I want to add it to this. And like, you could just build, you could just keep building. What I would really like to also see is them say something about outdoor decor. Like, you never know. They might say, hey, we're making an announcement here. Outdoor decor is going to be starting next week. Hopefully not before I get back home. But
well, I can give you I can give everyone a little bit of a sneaky peeky. Not really, but the Outdoor Decor Better Business channel has been just a ghost town for essentially a couple of months, and some activity has just started kicking off there. Like Jennifer's started to reach out and say, okay, so where are you at? Can you start sending me your models? So there's definitely some movement at the stations, shall we say.
Okay.
And
Ooh.
our artist is amazing.
Yes, and
Oh,
we're hoping to leak. If you keep your eye out on Twitter, hopefully this weekend we might do a little bit of a sneaky peeky at some of the stuff he's been
Wow,
working
that's
on.
exciting.
Looks really cool. All right, and just to wrap us up,
I'll get nice
Vegas.
pets for that. That's a good one. Good job.
Oh, the slobbed. Don't forget to pat your
fat
slob.
dolphin.
slightly obese dolphin.
Yes. All right, Buck, what's your take on Vegas?
For me, I think the thing everybody's gonna be talking about for a while after it is going to be BE stats, the stats on our block explorers. Because Jeremy did drop that bomb. Like, I was thinking, wow, it would be awesome if we get 5. He's like, no, it'd be like 17.
Yeah.
15 to 17 stats on our block explorers. Like, the details on that is going to be kind of ridiculous. So I'm interested to see, like, how do we do, upgrade this one, or how do we make it this, blah, blah, blah. And again, going back to like possibly creating serial killers. Like, what if we amp up aggressiveness all the way up, leave everything at 0? Are we going to have serial killer block explorers?
That'd be awesome. I have like the perfect
Killer
block
cheese.
explorer for that. Like the COVID mask one, Plague Doctor. Oh, he's definitely going to be a serial killer. Like, and I wonder if we could blend block explorers together to create ultra block explorers. Like, this is going to make BE shops explode if they do this properly.
Yeah. Well, if you can upgrade the stats and then sell that like as a grinding mechanic, absolutely. Yep, that's going to be huge.
Yeah. And part of our pitch for the hackathon, we did for the car renting service. The whole concept on the back end is once a car gets used a certain number of miles, it gets sold. So this way it gets maximum price because it's been used on a certain track a lot, or in a city, so it knows routes quicker. I'm assuming at some point, the efficiency of using Spark as our gas is going to have to play, into how we, mint a city and opening city, how we continue existing within Upland. So it'll be interesting.
There's a lot of speculation about how that's all going to play out.
But the Block Explorer stats, I'm going to be floored to see what they're going to bring on that.
Cool. All right, Cheese, is there anything else you wanted to touch on?
So much, but I don't want to keep you. But yeah, like God, I could just keep talking about this, but we could always take it offline. We haven't did the challenge.
What you have to do? Oh, we'll do that on the back end.
All right.
I'll do that on the back end. What you have to do is try and hook up with Buck at some stage over that Las Vegas week and do some kind of cross collaboration mini
360 interview video.
All right.
And we have like a first VR MVE episode.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm very shy in person. So if you see me, just be like, "Cheese," like give me a hug and be like, you dope. Smack me in the head a bit.
It'll be fun.
I'll get there.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll set this up between us. Oh, no, not this one. We'll set Chubby Whale between us.
Yes.
Right?
Oh,
and then
yes.
we can set up the computer where you'll ask the questions, but it sounds like Chubby Whale.
I'm having
Chubby Dolphin.
very bad flashbacks here.
I need to
I'm a kindergarten teacher. I'm a kindergarten teacher, and the industry is predominantly female based. So it's very rare that I've worked at a center where there's been more than one male. So there was one year there where I couldn't make the staff Christmas party. So they printed out and laminated a picture of my head and took me to the Christmas party. And oh my God, the image is burnt in my mind. Yeah, it's kind of horror stories. And you're talking about taking that to Vegas. Oh no.
Yes.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go? Well, okay, fine. You'll be off camera, but at the same time, when people turn it and see who the cameraman is, Chubby Whale.
That'd be funny, yes. Nice. They're in spirit for sure.
Yes.
But Cheese will be easy to spot. Most people don't know that Cheese is actually 7'2" tall. So
hey, now.
5'9".
7'2". That's a very good number.
Just look for the giant stacks of cash floating past.
Definitely have to hook up. We'll do, something. We'll have fun. We'll have fun about it. I'm staying at the Sahara, the front end, and then when I get back, I'm staying at some other smaller hotel that was able to find last minute.
Last minute, yeah. A lot of people are getting last minute. Spooky.
Yeah, well, I knew I was going to be there the front half. I didn't expect or think I was going to be the back half until this thing came up. It was $30 for a hotel on the 9th, to check out the 10th. It was a one-night deal.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah, that's can't be $30.
$30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
I'll have to have Ben somewhere there. Maybe a bandana with Ben right here.
People will be throwing egg rolls at it.
I'll have to incorporate you somehow being there.
Cool.
The big
Alrighty. Well, thank you very much, Buck, for joining us. And it's been awesome to get your take on things. And
this is
very,
fun.
very, very excited to see where you're going to take, your niche and all that sort of things and see how it all evolves.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are great. Big fan.
Wrap us up, Cheese, with your new catchphrase. Are we going to get
that
coming out?
Shoot, yes, please. Stay fresh, cheese bags. Later.
Bye.
Go ahead, get your pinky up. Talk wine and cheese, motherfucker. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Talk wine and cheese, motherfucker. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Go ahead, get your pinky up.
G'day, sickos. Okay, to qualify for this free episode theme Morecheeese NFT, as always, like and subscribe. Then do the same for the Bored Uplander Club YouTube channel and drop a comment to say hi in Buck's latest video titled 2022 Upland Genesis Week Hackathon Presentation. Link is in the description. Later.
Fire, samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get off the drive. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. You can let fire, samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky. You can let fire, samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get off the drive. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. You can let fire, samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky.